live this afternoon. Just wanted to get out the house, walk around in the backyard. It's nice, still cool, but perfect football weather. So I want to get out, walk around, chill out in the backyard a little bit, kind of go over some things from the games last night. Um, I don't usually do a YouTube live at lunch, but I figured why not? So great game last night. Still coming down off that emotional roller coaster that was the end of that game last night. That was crazy. Um, we had it secured, but like we couldn't put our foot on the neck and um, really secure that victory. When we couldn't get that first down and almost fumbled the ball on that play that they called, um, that was just a busted play. My immediate reaction was, why would we run that play? But we had run that play before. I still have some gripes and criticisms on why we always try to run the ball inside. Clearly, Cam Jurgens not being a guard is a problem. Uh, Tyler Steen had a decent game, but he got worked a little bit because he's a rookie. And we have got some good young players, right? We've got some really good young players, but don't get it twisted. They're rookies. With the exception of Jalen Carter, everybody plays like rookies. Rookies, you're going to get some good things and you're going to get some bad things. And you just kind of got to deal with it. And you hope the good outweighs the bad. Perfect example, you look at what happened yesterday with Bijan Robinson. First pick in the draft, the kid is dynamic. He's explosive. He's everything you wanted him to be. However, he puts the ball on the ground. So in some critical situations yesterday, Bijan Robinson was not in the game. Now, he will get better at that. And Eagles fans, we know about that because we had that issue with Miles Sanders not too long ago. So I, my thing is, you just gotta take it for what it is, get those guys the help that they need, and get them the snaps, and they naturally get better. Every time you get a draft pick in there, they're not gonna just blow it up. They're not gonna just be all world. Most of the time, your young players, it's a growing period. You got to go through growing pains and all of that kind of stuff. Everybody goes through that. Everybody goes through that. We're no different. You look at what Jalen Hurts went through. Now, having said that, of course, I like to listen to the opposition and look at their social media and what their media outlets are saying. And for the most part, this morning, I was on a podcast last week with this guy, Law Nation Sports. Big shout out to him. He's a good dude. I look to do stuff with him in the future. But come on, man, with the referees are out to get us. Like, stop that. It was 10-10 in penalties. Were there some obvious calls that were missed by the referees? Absolutely. Absolutely. The broadcast showed the one holding call that was missed, and Micah Parsons was going off and pissed off about that. And I get it. They're going to miss some calls. But do I need to comb through the tape and go over all of the plays that the refs missed in favor of Dallas? And the one thing they're doing in all of these complaints, you got to keep it fair. That's the backhanded compliment. If you're going to do it, you just got to keep it fair on both sides and all of that. And it's like, well, no, because I can go through the tapes, I can watch the all 22s, and I can go find a whole bunch of plays that they didn't call, holding on us or whatever the situation is. So it goes both ways. Yes, the refs missed some calls. Yes, it was holding on Micah Parsons, but I could also show you defensive holding on Jason Kelsey. The whole situation where Bayard got the penalty, and I mean, you can go back and forth, but don't just cherry pick plays and act like it was so one sided. If if you were the Miami Dolphins when Miami played Philadelphia and it was 10-0, like I said before, that's a valid criticism. So I understand why those fans were pissed off. And even then, it's not as bad as they make it out to be. It's always worse because your team lost. So stop with the crying, the bitching, and moaning that the refs had it in for you. It was like, nah, refs missed some calls. They missed some calls for us as well. Ain't nothing changed. It's been like that since I played in the 90s. Everybody bitches about the refs. It's not too many times. I mean, and shoot, as a Eagles fan, if you're gonna bitch about that, did you have that same energy when they called that BS call on Bradbury in the Super Bowl? When they hadn't called it like that all game? Come on, we can empathize with bad calls. Don't get it twisted. But it is what it is what it is. And props, like I said earlier, props to Dak Prescott, props to CD Lamb. They played lights out. They played lights out. They took advantage of a injury riddled high turnover secondary. And they looked at that tape at Washington. They looked at that tape the first half of LA, and they said, oh, we got some things that we can work with. And that's exactly what they did. CD Lamb was eating Bradbury's lunch. He was eating Slay's lunch. And he was eating Sidney Brown's lunch. You got a rookie in there trying to cover CD Lamb. Take advantage of that. That's what you're supposed to do. And that's what they did. And CD Lamb had himself a day. Dak Prescott had himself a day. And the truth of the matter is, if the situations was reversed, I would expect that from A.J. Brown, without question. Without question. And if we had done that, we would be giving Jalen all the praise. But in Philly, if we would have lost it like that, we would have been tearing him a new one. Don't get it twisted. Because that's the one thing about Philly fans. They don't play when it comes to that. We like our players, but when they screw up, we are not afraid to call them out on their stuff. Not at all. As much as we big play Slay, as much as we love Bradbury, and everything we got going on with the Eagles, everybody in Philadelphia knows our secondary right now is suspect at best. And we got to get it together. And luckily, we got this bye week, and hopefully we can get some people healed up. Hopefully Jalen can feel a little bit better. Excuse me, but we haven't had a clean game all year. Every week it's another injury. And now we just lose our best tight end. Now we got to see if Albert O is any good. I think he is, the kid we got from Denver. Albert Okweegbunam. Say that 3 times fast. Albert Okweegbunam. Go look him up from Denver. We signed him earlier before the season started. He hasn't been on the field yet, but go see what that kid looks like. Go check out his highlights from Denver. Kid's got some size. Kid's got some speed. We can do some things with that. But we got to give him the ball. So we got to make him a part of the offense. And I think Calcaterra is hurt right now. So it's going to be him and I guess Jack Stoll. So we got some things that we got to figure out too. But I'm just, this video is about all of the complaining. Like, stop complaining. We got you. Were you complaining about the refs when y'all got 3 penalties in a row that took you from your 14 into the red zone in less than 20 seconds? Not complaining about that. It was what it was. But y'all couldn't come up with the dub. That's not our fault. And that's not the ref's fault. It wasn't the ref's fault that the rookie didn't get past the goal line when he caught that ball on that flat route. And you can't blame it on him being a rookie, because when you were a freshman in high school, they tell you that. And if you mess it up as a freshman, a senior will say to you, he's just a freshman, he don't know that. But when you're a senior, you know that. So now when you get to college, when you're a freshman in college, do they say you don't know that? It's the same rules. You still got to get past the same goal line. The field is measured the same way in high school, college, and in the pros. So if that kid didn't have enough wherewithal, it's not because he didn't know, it's because he didn't do it. Because he didn't do it. Hot and ready. I see you, man. Good game last night, man. Hey, Dak and CD lit it up. Dak and CD lit it up. And we, of all people, of all fan bases, We know what it means when your guy, your quarterback is the best person on that field that night and you come up short. Philadelphia fans know about that. Cody K, what's going on, my guy? Philadelphia fans know about that. Jalen Hurts broke records in that Super Bowl, and we came up short. Jalen Hurts was the best player on that field in that Super Bowl last year, and we came up short. So we know about that. And you know what? Got to give him props. Dak was the best quarterback on that field last night. He lit it up, but they came up short. He was 6 feet and 2 inches short. The 2 yards that they were away from the goal line on that last play of the game, that 1 inch he stepped out of bounds, and that 1 inch that kid caught that pass but didn't get the ball over the goal line. 2 inches. This is a game of inches. And that is a mental thing. Some people don't have it, some people do. How many times you see a young guy, they practice it now, but before the game's going on, look at what Brian Westbrook did in that game where he got the ball, broke off, was going to score a touchdown, and went down at the 2 yard line so we could run out the clock and secure the victory. We didn't have to score and leave them a chance to get back. We iced the game. That's mental awareness. There's always somebody on the team that does that. Dak didn't have that. Y'all trying to win the game and you have a delay of game penalty? Whose fault is that? Whose fault is that? So don't, Cowboys fans, don't be bitching about the refs. The refs didn't lose that game. Y'all lost that game. It wasn't Mike McCarthy. On the field, Mike McCarthy didn't have nothing to do with them players not getting into the end zone. I guarantee you, in practice, they practiced that. Get deep enough. This is what you got to do. But you know what? The other guys on the other side of the ball get paid too. Ain't that what they told us when we lost to the Jets? Absolutely. The guys on the other side of the ball get paid too. So I just find it funny that, you know, the Dallas fans are going to complain, and you're going to have that. I'm okay with that. But don't cherry pick plays on they missed this call and that call, because you know what? I'm going to go and watch the all 22 when I get it too. And I'm going to cherry pick some plays and, hey, you see see what they missed here? Fantasy players still mad at Westbrook for that. I believe you. But I'm not going to cherry pick ref plays. You can do that. It doesn't do no good now because they're not going to review the game. So get it out your system. Get your bitching out of the way. And we'll see y'all the next time we come. But for us, for the Philadelphia faithful, we're going to enjoy this victory. We're going to talk our talk. Yeah, Robert, they are crying, bro. They are crying. And it's funny because the dude that I'm talking about, Law Nation Sports, when I was on with him, my first impression was, now that's a Cowboys fan I could talk to, because for the most part, he was keeping it 100. And he does. I ain't bad mouthing him, because I would go on and talk with that guy, because he knows what he's talking about. And I don't mind you being passionate about your team. You're supposed to. But not with the crying about the refs and all. That drives me nuts. And it drives me nuts more so as a former player, because that's the one thing that they would always tell us in meetings, like, don't leave it in the refs' hands. They're not gonna win the game for you. That's the one thing they used to tell us. Like, you never want to get it in a situation where you're leaving it in the hands of your refs. That's a recipe for the disaster. So my outlook in all of that, it doesn't matter. I said that last year when, if you remember, the Washington game where Dallas Goedert got the face mask and he got injured and he fumbled the ball. We ended up losing that game. And everybody, rightfully so, everybody in Philly was bitching about a missed call and stuff like that. And I was like, what call? Wasn't a penalty because they didn't call it. And we lost the ball. And we ended up losing the game because of that. So we know about bad calls. So don't act like it doesn't happen to us. Everybody gets a turn. Everybody in the league gets a turn with all these bad calls and bad refs and anything else you want to throw in the picture. Why we refuse, I don't understand the logic. Help me understand. What are you talking about specifically? What do you mean when you're talking about putting pressure on the quarterback? Defense is trying to put pressure on the quarterback on every play. every play. So it might not be from a rush on the line. It could be from linebacker looks, from dropping in zone. It could be a different. So never think that our defense is not trying to put pressure on the quarterback. You're trying to make them. You're trying to rush them. You're trying to rush the quarterback and force the quarterback to make bad decisions. That's what you're trying to do. A good defensive play doesn't necessarily mean that Fletcher Cox and Josh Sweat are always going to be in Dak's face. It's not going to happen because, again, the other guys on the other side of the ball get paid too. So we talked about that left tackle for Dallas being a weak spot. But you know what? That kid held up his own against Jalen Carter. Jalen Carter didn't get too many pressures yesterday. So for all of the, stuff we were talking about, he was injured, the backup was questionable. All of that stuff goes out the window because the guy that was on the field did his job and did his job relatively well. So if not for nothing, why didn't Jalen Carter force that fumble on the next to last play of the game when Josh Sweat sacked Dak? We should have had a fumble on that one, but he missed. Yeah, Robert, they had 3 opportunities to put points up, and they did not. Game of inches. They lost that game 6 feet 2 inches. That's how they lost that game. That's how they lost that game. 6 feet 2 inches. We made the plays, and they didn't. So it is what it is. But the good thing for us is that we have to go this week and just do nothing but get healthy. And think about it like this. Think about it like this, and give Dallas fans the benefit of the doubt, right? Because they're going to talk about how they lit us up, how CD was the best receiver, how Dak was the best quarterback, and that is correct. Last night, Dak was the best player on that field last night. However, Jalen Hurts was the best leader. We won the time of possession. We had the time of possession yesterday by about 2 or 3 minutes. But that last drive, the fourth quarter, Dallas had the ball for like 11 minutes. And them having the ball for 11 minutes, we still won the time of possession for the game. So what does that say? You got to look at everything in total. And I know Dallas fans is pissed off, and you're going to be pissed off. And you're going to have to eat this until the next time we see you. And the next time we see you, it might be a little bit more even game. Because for all of the stuff that Dallas is going to say, well, if this would have happened, if that would have happened, and we'll see next time, you are exactly right. It may be a different outcome when we travel to Dallas. However, in my opinion, this is a totally different game if Jalen Hurts is 100% and Jalen Hurts can run. So if we can heal up a little bit, and let's say Jalen Hurts goes from 75% to 85, close to 90%, and he can run like we know he can run, that's a different ball game. He escapes some of those pocket collapses, and he can there's one situation where he scrambled out. He got about 6 or 7 yards. We were in the red zone, but I'm like, if Jalen Hurts is full speed, he scores on that play. So we can give the woulda, coulda, shouldas. Woulda, coulda, shoulda don't do nothing but rhyme. So next time, hopefully we're going to have some other things in place. Hopefully we're going to have some players that are healed. Hopefully Sean Desai's going to get that defensive secondary together, and we can get a cohesive unit for a little bit. Kevin Byard is still not quite there yet. He's still learning the verbiage. Bradbury, we got to figure out what's going on with him. And I don't know if y'all saw that injury. When Bradbury went down towards the end of the game, that one play on the sideline, he came out and ended up going right back in. He hyperextended his knee. So things like that have a way of, he played through it because you got the adrenaline and the blood flowing and all of that kind of stuff. But I wonder what it looked like when he woke up this morning. So, but the good thing is we don't have to worry about that, and we got time to rest and heal up, and hopefully we can get QB number 1 back to top form, or at least a little bit closer. At least a little bit closer. So we shall see. We shall see. So, but at the end of the day, we are 8-1. We are going into the bye. We're going to heal up. And now we got this murderer's row schedule that everybody's talking about. And that annoys me as well because, yes, it's a tough schedule, but everybody wants to look at us like we didn't get better. And all these teams that we're about to play, they got issues too. All of them got issues. Dallas has issues. Seattle has issues. San Francisco has issues. Kansas City has issues. If Miami would have played any type of offensive football in the first half, they were going to beat Kansas City yesterday, but they didn't. That score was 21-14, and Kansas City scored on a scoop and score on a fumble from Tyreek Hill. So that means Miami's defense held the vaunted Kansas City offense to 2 scores. So Kansas City has problems. Everybody has some problems. Buffalo got beat yesterday. Buffalo's having problems. Everybody's got issues. So stop with the like we got the murderer's row. We got a tough schedule and we got some good teams. But you know what? Damn it, them teams got to play us. And we ain't going nowhere. And it ain't like we, chop liver. They got a problem dealing with us. And you got to deal with us after a week's worth of health. So we'll see what's going to happen. So I want these guys to stop talking smack, and we'll see you when we see you on the field. All right? I'm going to get up out of here. And as usual, check me out, Pro Fan Talk. Hit that subscribe button.